Today should be pretty to the point, quite frankly, because I haven't prepared anything. I know exactly what I'm going through, and it's going to be the nurturing, the nurturing phase of social selling. So we're going to focus on some sales navigator tips, right? How to manage your lead funnel with Sales Navigator. Once you have your ideal prospects into your network in LinkedIn, how to nurture them on an ongoing basis, how to create strategic lead lists and engage with them on an ongoing basis. So really middle of the funnel kind of stuff. For those of you who are here for your first time, typically these lunch and learns we'll just go through a brief social selling intro. What is it? Why are you here? How is this different than all the other stuff you're getting pitched on a daily basis with digital marketing, et cetera. And then we dive right into an actionable tip. So it might be 5 minutes, might be 15 minutes, but we really bogey for 15-minute presentation and then 15-minute Q&A. We haven't had really any Q&A, which has been fine because the feedback has been great with that. So I really think this is just a bite-sized nugget of something that has takeaway value each week. As long as that value is there, we'll continue doing it. I run BizNexus and BN.Digital. I've been in deal origination for buyout, and then as a search funder, and now with BizNexus and BN.Digital. Really, for the duration of my career, I've been in the space, this very rapidly changing space. So BizNexus is, let me just go back there. BizNexus is our platform for really broker deal origination, broker rep deals, and then BN.Digital is proprietary deal origination. And this call today is typically comprised of our agency clients and then people who are just interested in that proprietary deal origination strategy, engaging with social selling for the purpose of deal origination in the area of business acquisition and sale. So what is social selling and how does that apply to deal origination? It's leveraging all of the data that's available out there on these social platforms, particularly LinkedIn, but then also through cold email, through the outreach where you get the data, you scrub the data, you make sure that you're laser focused on who your prospect is and that you can reach out to them across multiple channels. That primary prospect is typically a business owner for a search funder, for buyout professionals, for the intermediary. But then we also have this flywheel of referral prospects that we talk about each week. And that's financial advisors, accountants, lawyers. Depending on your space, there's always going to be a rich pool of referral targets that you should probably get very, very accurate with when it comes to your targeting. And then when it comes to nurturing, today's topic, making sure that you're doing that with your referral prospects in particular on an ongoing basis. So having a set system to do this on a regular basis, not so you make sure it's not an ad hoc strategy, but you're setting yourself reminders in your CRM. You have lead lists set up in LinkedIn for the high value prospects, doing that and making sure that it's dummy proof. These things can't fall through the cracks. Very important as you continue to build your business. So the 5 stages of social selling that we talk about each week. First, you want to start with optimizing your online brand, right? Making sure that it's bulletproof, that there are no red flags that are going to rule you out of an engagement, especially in business brokerage or buying a business. If somebody is vetting you and they think you are not a qualified buyer, that you're going to waste their time, they're going to rule you out. If they think that you are not the intermediary to be repping their deal for sale, if there's any sort of red flag that rules you out of an engagement, which really comes to 10% of the value of what somebody has created over the past 20, 30 years, that's step number 1. You want to make sure that your online brand doesn't have any of these red flags, but also speaks directly to the pain points of your end target prospect, of that business owner, right? And then with your targeting, again, something like social selling, it starts with your targeting, making sure that you are getting laser focused on the end prospect, the business owner, and who each of those referral prospects are, so that you're not wasting your time. If you screw up the targeting, you're going to wind up getting a lot of leads in who you have to deal with who don't fit the bill, right? This at scale, this winds up equaling a bunch of wasted time. So the targeting is very, very important. And whether it's LinkedIn or whether it's email or some other channel, that targeting also involves data enrichment, scrubbing, so that when you have these prospects, you can touch them across multiple channels, which is such an important part of this social selling process, right? We talk about LinkedIn a lot because it's so valuable from a B2B standpoint, but it's not just LinkedIn. And we'll get into that today. Building campaigns hyper specific to each of these targets, right? Speaking to the pain points of each of these targets and telling them exactly how you solve those pain points. And then nurturing today's topic, making sure that you're educating and enlightening these prospects about who you are, how you help with their pain points, how you solve their problems, and then capturing and converting, making sure that you're getting them off of LinkedIn, off of Facebook, off of Twitter, off of email, off of your newsletter, into a real world engagement, and all of the tactics that we go through on a weekly basis to help make that happen. That's the end goal of all of this, is to get that real world engagement, right? So we're leveraging all the data and all the targeting that's available online to make sure that these prospects become aware of who we are, what our value proposition is, they get comfortable with us, they see the social proof, and then you get the engagement offline, right? The real world engagement when they're ready, because they already know who you are, what you do, and they're comfortable with you to a degree. Resources update, I mentioned last week, would be doing this on an ongoing basis. For BN.Digital, one thing that we have been doing, so we've started in the Slack channel. I know a lot of you are using that for the agency, for direct questions, for our closed channels that we have for agency clients. But we do have the collaboration channels as well. So articles in particular, just keep an eye on this, because with BizNexus, we are sharing more. Let me show you here. You'll see here with the content that we actually have more of these social posts, right? So we're not going to be sharing posts that don't have value, but if you're talking about an article that is valuable and relates to business acquisition and sale, if you want to get that up on BizNexus, showing up directly on the homepage for buyers, for sellers, for business owners, then pop into the Slack channel and just put it in the articles feed. And that is, that's a free service, right? So we haven't promoted it yet, but if you start putting your articles in there, if it's legit and if it makes the cut, we'll put it up in front of the BizNexus pool of buyers and sellers and entrepreneurs. Other than that, we've had a lot of boosted profiles, which is great, because if it fits, we're going to put some spend behind that and push a listing or a profile out to your target audience. Keep an eye on that. The referral link basically gives you free access to all of our premium services if you get people to come sign up for BizNexus. So that's it. That's the brief ad. Let's move on. BizNexus.com, BN.Digital. That's where you can access all of our services. So today, we're hanging out in this nurture phase of the social selling process. This is all we're going to be focusing on, is nurturing today. We're going to be doing that through Sales Navigator. Again, this should be pretty short and sweet, but hopefully it's valuable and you get some real takeaway to do items with this. So we're going to go through a Sales Nav search. I'm going to curate a lead list, and I'm going to show you some of the tactics that I've used in various sales roles, but with my current role, and then how I see this being applicable for intermediaries and people who are looking to buy a business. I'll show you some of those tactics so that you can systematize your process for following up and engaging with your tier one prospects. And I believe I don't even have an extra slide. Okay, I do. But I'm pretty much just going to walk through how to do this via Sales Nav. So when you log in to LinkedIn, obviously this is going to be whatever your homepage looks like. This is the LinkedIn environment, right? And if you have Sales Navigator, you click on Sales Navigator, and this is now a new environment. This is very confusing for people who begin with Sales Navigator. It's amazingly frustrating, especially considering the resources LinkedIn has to fix or to improve user experience. this confuses a lot of people. So messages oftentimes wind up in your LinkedIn inbox when you'd expect them to be in your Sales Navigator inbox, and vice versa. This is one of the problems with Sales Navigator today, right? Hopefully it continues to improve, but it's clunky and it's hard to navigate in a lot of ways. But where Sales Navigator is exceptional is targeting, right? And so let's do some of that right now. I'm going to create a sample list. Okay, so let's say I'm targeting financial advisors. So I'm a business broker. I'm not, but for the purposes of this call, let's say I am. Or, search funder, right? Somebody looking to buy a business. I want to build up my, flywheel of referral prospects. So let's say I look at, financial advisor. Maybe I want somebody new, right? Someone who is still building up their referral pipeline. So maybe they've been in there for a couple of years in the positions. They're still looking to build a business. And maybe I want somebody who, at least I have somebody in connection, right? So it's not just totally random. I can reference them. I know we have somebody, in common. And I'm in Boston, so I'm going to say in the United States. And I'm going to do this search, right? Now, you can save that search and mine it on an ongoing basis. But what's really valuable is going through and looking at who you might want. And this is, forgive me, I'm not going according to the script, but this is a search for second degree connections. So if you're looking for people to invite into your network, this is relevant. I'm just going to change this and I'm going to do first degree connections, get rid of second degree connections, because for the purpose of this call, we're talking about ongoing nurturing, right? So if I want to nurture my current network, I'm going to do first degree connections. So I'm falling on my sword here. That's me going off script. You want to search your first degree connections when you're creating a lead list for the purpose of nurturing your current network, right? So when I do this, I'm going to go through, I'm going to find some financial advisors who I think, for whatever reason, they fit the bill. Maybe we've had a quick conversation. I haven't sold them on anything, but I know that they have value for me, right? In some way, I would like to bring them down the funnel and get them to the close, whatever that close is. If it's a Zoom meeting or a phone call, or we want to do a webinar together as a financial advisor and a business broker to, co-target our business owner prospects. This is what this is for, right? We're moving these people down the funnel. So I'm going to take these people who I've identified as, let's call them tier 1 prospects, right? You don't want to do this for everybody. I'm going to do it for your tier 1 prospects. And I'm going to create a lead list. And I'm going to call this, financial advisors. Okay. And I'm going to create that and save it. Now in your lists, you can always go back into the list and you can check in on them, right? You can create multiple lists for this. So if you're a business broker, maybe you have lenders, maybe you have financial advisors, maybe you have accountants, maybe you have lawyers, right? But you have these different lead lists who you can, if you're working with an agency, you can export these lists into a CRM, and then you can have different newsletters or drips that are targeting just those lists to hit them off channel. Or, when you log into Sales Navigator, what's really helpful is if you're saving these lead lists, all of their activity just comes up on your homepage. So again, this is not your LinkedIn homepage. If you're in LinkedIn, when you log in, you want to click on Sales Navigator to get to your Sales Navigator homepage. And here you'll see ongoing updates about the people who are in your network who you've marked off as leads, right? And for me, I have a lead list called my tribe. It's just people who I engage with, who I'm regularly coordinating with. We share each other's stuff. And so I have them in here, and they're not actually leads, but they're people who I engage with on a regular basis. I want to prioritize their content so that, I can share their stuff, they can share my stuff, et cetera, et cetera. This is really valuable for nurturing, right? So saving your current contacts as leads, preferably in a lead list like I've just shown you, that's going to allow their activity to show up on your Sales Navigator homepage. Sales Navigator homepage is okay, But if you download the mobile app, it's very easy, right? So if you're sitting down, the mobile app, their UX, their user interface is very clean. So it's very easy to just go through and quickly engage with your leads. It's a great way to nurture your prospects, right? To nurture the tier 1 prospects. That is really the process for creating a lead list, watching your leads, engaging with your leads. Some things to watch out for, right? On the surface, Sales Navigator, this functionality is very powerful, right? And the targeting is amazing for Sales Navigator, being able to engage on an ongoing basis in a tasteful way, right? Especially with business acquisition and business brokerage. Again, you don't want to burn a contact, right? You want to bring them in. Again, going through the funnel that we talk about on a regular basis. You first want to make them curious about who you are and what you do. You want to educate and enlighten them about how what you do solves their pain points, and then you want to convert. So just be careful as you're engaging on an ongoing basis, not to go for a hard close before they even know who you are. This space right here, engaging with people, commenting, liking their stuff, popping into an article, this helps you move from the middle of the funnel down to that convert, right? So if you've been engaging with these prospects on an ongoing basis, and then you hit them with an email to have a phone call, they're much more likely to say yes to engage with that than if you're not doing this for a period of however long you need to for each particular prospect. Okay. So the LinkedIn Sales Navigator big fails, in my opinion. This is where you can wind up burning a lot of time if you go down the Sales Navigator rabbit hole. So feel free to do it and test it out, but just be warned. LinkedIn has functionality for contact management, right? So adding tags, adding notes. I've tried it many different ways. It's not a CRM, it fails. So ultimately you have to get these contacts into some sort of CRM and reliable management process for this to be scalable, for this to be valuable, for you to be able to bring a financial advisor into your LinkedIn network, to warm them over LinkedIn, familiarize them with your brand. You have to get them into some sort of targeted financial advisor drip or newsletter or webinar, etc., off channel, off of LinkedIn. You can only do that with a CRM. LinkedIn Sales Navigator in its current state fails at the CRM game. I have no idea why, because LinkedIn should be number one, in my opinion. But they're not doing it well, and they don't play nice with outside CRMs other than Microsoft and Salesforce. So HubSpot kind of, but not really. So that's a fail. Removing contacts and prospect limits. So as you're saving leads, be mindful of the fact that there is a limit on prospect leads. I think it's 2,000 in Sales Navigator. And if you get to the point where you have to start removing your leads, you're going to want to put a VA on that because it's extremely time consuming. There's no way to bulk delete your leads. Sales Navigator does not make it easy to do that. I don't know why. It's just how it is. So be careful. If you're going to save leads to a list, do it strategically. Make sure these are actually tier 1 leads, not someday maybe leads, but these are leads that have value. It's a business owner in your area who runs a company of a certain size and has been doing that for 30 years, and you've had a quick back and forth, but you haven't clearly stated your value proposition. You haven't really made the push for the phone call about, hey, this is what I do and what are your exit options, right? Let's talk about that. Tier 1 leads, not tier 2 leads, not tier 3 leads, because then it's just going to become a nightmare to manage in Sales Navigator. Consistency of search results. So typically when I do a search, right? So let's just say the search that I did. I don't even need to show you. I'll just talk about it. The financial advisor search on Sales Navigator, maybe the first page has clear value, but the second page starts to be a little spotty, right? So this is where people run into trouble if they're just trying to run campaigns based on a search, right? If it's a niche search, you might have a lot of people who are off target. That's where curating lists can be very, very valuable. but the consistency of search results in Sales Navigator can be wildly unreliable depending on where you are, what your target is, and what degrees of connections you're searching for based on your particular online Rolodex, based on your network. Lead recommendations I've found to be pretty horribly off, especially for something like business brokerage. They don't even have it as an industry. So just be mindful that this is an area where LinkedIn Sales Navigator can wind up wasting a lot of your time. So that's it. Like I said, short and sweet today. Hopefully that's some good walk away value. If there's any, let's see, I've got a question here. All right. So the Slack channel, again, guys, if you just go to the agency site, go to resources, join our Slack community, right? Under resources, we have the videos for these lunch and learns, right? Well, that's actually the sign up. But if you go to digital sales training, you're going to see all of these lunch and learns. We put them up each week. You can pop in there and review what we're going through. The complimentary blog posts and interviews, again, all you have to do is go in here and answer one of these interviews, and we'll turn it around and turn this into a blog post, and then also a video interview if you choose to do that. It's all for your branding, so we're not going to make you look bad. It's all just helping to get the business broker brand out there to educate our entrepreneurs about what business brokers do and the value builders and niche providers in this space, and how you can all help entrepreneurs buy or sell a business. And the Slack community is just right there in the link. And if you want any additional resources on targeting for LinkedIn or how to set up your personal company profile, we have those ebooks as well. All right, guys. Well, that is it. I don't see any other questions. So onward. Have a great week. Hopefully it was valuable. Leave your reviews when you get the questions, please. It helps us guide this. It helps us shape it going forward. Helps us keep it valuable. So have a great weekend. Take care. See you next week, guys.